If your last apparel drop flopped, if you've got shirts collecting dust in your back office, or if you're just overwhelmed and thinking merch is a waste of time, I'm here to tell you it's not your gym, it's your system. I've helped thousands of gyms sell over 1 million shirts, and I've seen the same story again and again. You've got loyal members who want to rep your brand, but you've made it too hard for them to buy. This video is your wake-up call, not a sales pitch or anything like that. This is a reality check from someone who's watched too many good gyms leave money on the table with this process. So if you're ready to turn your next drop into real revenue, let's get into it. So the biggest mistake I see gym owners make is that they make this process way too complicated. And let's be honest, your last merch order probably looked like this: designing back and forth for 4 to 6 weeks with someone on Fiverr, or waiting for your current vendor to get back to you. You didn't really have any sizing samples available for people to purchase. So people kept bothering you like, has it fit? How does it feel? And you're like, I have no idea. Like, just order whatever size. But little did you know, it's actually unisex sizing. So now all your sizing's off. Then the other issue is marketing. Your marketing was really spotty. If at best, maybe a couple Facebook posts, maybe a couple Instagram posts, but nothing super consistent. And if I audited your marketing, you'd be like, we made an Instagram post with a couple stories. That's not enough. Really, these orders wind up being underwhelming when you're not following a real system and you're trying to freestyle it yourself. But look, at the end of these orders, most gym owners who follow that type of process, they just wind up frustrated. You wind up buying extra inventory you don't need. And then you just wind up swearing and saying, look, I'm just never doing this again. It's not worth my time. I run a gym. I'm not a clothing boutique. I didn't get in this to sell apparel. But honestly, your members really want apparel, but they just want it done in a streamlined fashion so it isn't a circus every time they do it. But look, if you're doing this whole merch madness thing and this merch chaos thing and you don't have a system, that's why we started this at Forever Fierce. You really need a tight, repeatable system, and you want a design process that's fast and proven. Here at Forever Fierce, we are happy to work on a custom design idea for you. We're happy to work on, something we have worked on in the past and adapt it to your needs, or we can just work on something off the top of our head that you haven't seen before. We're also going to send you sizing samples to the gym ahead of time so you know how things fit and feel. There's no fee for the samples. I've talked a lot about samples on this channel a bunch, but really the samples are a huge seller to most members. Also, we're going to help you set up a pre-order. One of the biggest issues I see for gym owners is that they don't have a good pre-order system. They're like, I think my gym management software collects it, or I just make a form at the front desk and then I have to like decode everyone's chicken scratch handwriting. Look, we offer an all-inclusive pre-order system on our website where we collect all the orders for you. We collect all the payments. We cut you back a profit check, and everything will arrive to the gym packaged, labeled, ready for distribution. So if you need a streamlined system, we got that for you. We've already learned a lot of these hard lessons for you. And as a huge bonus, I like to provide all of our clients with our proprietary marketing system. This marketing system is going to give you a framework for promoting the merch to your members. So you're not just like guessing where to post. I tell you what to do day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I give you 30 different ways you can get the message out to your members. But really, this marketing resource is one of the most valuable things I can pass off to you and introduce you to. Because if you can figure this out, this is something that will definitely pay you back tens of thousands of dollars over the course of running a gym. Now, the second mistake I see is that you're waiting for members to take action, but you haven't given them a reason to. And most gym owners just assume, if I post about shirts, people will buy them. Like, new merch available, click here. That's not how this works today. I would say before 2020, that's kind of how it worked, where you could just say, new merch available, click here, and people would just like flood your inbox with orders. It doesn't work like that anymore. There's too much competition between individual influencers, equipment companies, supplement companies, drink companies. All these people are putting out merch now. You really need to figure out a way where you can answer the question in people's mind, why should I buy this right now? And here's what we've learned after helping 1,500 plus gyms with this process. People don't act unless there's a reason to act. And I have a much longer video on this channel about incentives and the different types of incentives you need to incorporate into your orders. But people need a deadline. They need samples. They need a price incentive. They need a special guide. There has to be a strong incentive to get people to make a purchase. And again, if you want to see more about how I structure incentives for all of our clients, as always, please book a call. I'd love to talk to you and show you exactly how we do this for thousands of gyms around the world. But your apparel drop should feel more like a challenge, a limited edition opportunity money rather than just like, hey, buy this if you want it. You shouldn't treat it just like a bottle of water where it's like, we have this available if you want it, but you like don't need to buy it. You need to treat it as like, this is a limited edition. This is the last time we're doing this until the spring. So please order now. When you introduce that urgency and that limited edition mindset, orders start to spike and go through the roof because people have a very firm reason to buy, and it's a great incentive to do it. Look, and here's the third mistake I see gym owners make is that they just try and do everything themselves. And look, I get it. Being a small business owner, you have to do a lot of stuff yourself. And you have coaches, you have classes, you have payroll, you have leads to follow up with, you have to do programming, and now you're trying to design, market, and manage an apparel line on top of that. That's a full-time job. So every time you try to do this yourself, you're just burning energy. You're just burning yourself out when you should be using that energy to run your gym. And I tell people this all the time and it makes people laugh, but being a gym owner is a really weird job because you have to be up early. You have all this dead time in the afternoon, but then you have to be like turned on at night because the post-work crowd's coming in, and that's where a lot of people like to train. That's when the gym's the busiest. You have to work on the weekends, and you really don't get a ton of downtime. So you really have to preserve your energy with this stuff, considering the physical, mental demands that go into running a gym on top of doing all these like little secondary things. There really needs to be a system for this. And again, we are going to work with you to create the design, send you the garment samples, and pick out which garments you should be using during this time frame, set up the pre-order for you, give all the marketing materials you need, and then we're going to ship and deliver everything to you. Look, we run these plays thousands of times during the year. So this is not the first gym we've ever talked to. We know exactly what you need. We know exactly what we can take off your plate. If you want to see more about how we can help you more individually, book a call in the description. You'll see a link there to my personal calendar. You'll jump on a call with me. I'll hear more of how you're currently doing things, make some recommendations about moving forward. And again, the call only takes 5 to 10 minutes. We'll get you on the right track. One misconception I see from a lot of gyms is, well, I have a small gym. There's no way this could be profitable. A lot of you who think you're small, you're not really small. You know, there's a lot of gyms who are 100 to 200 members where they're making somewhere between $1,000 to $2,000 in a single apparel drop. And really, it's not that complicated. They just follow our system. They're using the designs we give them. They have a very clear system for marketing. We attack the member objections head on, which is samples, has it fit, has it feel? If you'd answer that question, you're going to get a lot more sales. And again, we give you this clear marketing so you know exactly what to say and when to say it. You don't need 1,000 members. You just need a streamlined process to get out of your own way. There's a lot of funny parallels between owning a gym and running our business here at Forever Fierce, but it's the same way that members need a coach to stay consistent and accountable. You need a system to stay consistent and accountable with merch. So look, one drop can do way more than you think. Let's zoom out. One apparel drop isn't just cash. It's member engagement. It's free marketing around town. It's staff unity. It's a branded experience for your members to remember. But none of that happens if shirts are an afterthought. Treat your merch program like a campaign and it will pay like one. The gym owners who make the most out of this process are the ones who say, I have to make this work. I have to make this work because this is the money we're using to go on vacation, to refresh equipment, to pay down a loan, whatever. But it's the gym owners who are like, I don't really care. I don't really need this. I do it because like members bother me about it. Look, you can take that mindset if you want, but I will tell you, you will quit when the chips are down. And most sales happen on day 1, 6, and 7. So the gym owners who are like, I have to make this work, they go all out from day 1 through day 7. The ones who are like, I don't really care, I just do this because people bother me about it, they're the ones who quit on day 3 and miss out on the 2 biggest selling days of day 6 and day 7. Make this a priority, lock in when the deadline is there. So if you say the deadline's 7 days, stick to 7 days, lock in, go all out, and I guarantee you're gonna have success with this. Here's the bottom line. Your members want the gear. They want the apparel. They've been asking for it all year round. They're proud to rep your brand, but you need to make it easy. You can keep hacking it together, or you can partner with a team that's done this 25,000 times and knows exactly what works. That's what we do here at Forever Fierce. If you're ready to run a drop the right way, without the guesswork, hit the link in the description and let's make this the easiest, most profitable drop you've ever done. Don't leave money on the table. Let's go.